Okay, hi everyone. Welcome in. Man, anyone who says that starting a YouTube channel is easy is lying. Anyway, welcome to Frequency Tarot. My name is Lauren. If you're new here, that means that's because this channel is new. And I haven't had time to set up everything, put everything immaculate, but here we are, we're doing this. And I feel like people just want to see something raw anyway, like where it's just person to person. So I might be leaning on that as an excuse, but I feel like that's what people like as well. But anyway, so today is the Leo full moon, and man, it is intense. This one's a big one because not only is Leo about self-expression and leaning into what energies have you been giving to yourself and how you express yourself with other people in any creative endeavor or your relationships, how you've been seen, how you're giving yourself in your anything from creativity to relationships, I find. And usually you can look back on the last 6 months. It's usually around that cycle where the last new moon within whatever the full moon sign it is. So this one will be full moon in Leo. The last new moon in Leo was back in the end of July. And there could have been some decisions that you made, or maybe some unconscious, let's just say, movements or events that happened at that time of your life. And with the symbolism of the full moon, this says that those energies that essentially started at that time are now, let's say, fully manifesting at this point. And this new moon, or this full moon, is not just like a regular full moon. We're closing out the snake year. These are literally the last few weeks of this Chinese snake year to end, and then we enter into the fire horse, and we've got Neptune just moved out of Pisces and into Aries, and then in a couple weeks time we have Saturn moving out of Pisces into Aries. So there's a lot of Piscean energy going on. But with all of that activity, we have also we have a stellium in Aquarius. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's 4 planets in Aquarius right now, including the sun, because we're in Aquarius season. And man, the energies that are coming from that, we've got Mercury, Mars, Venus, Pluto, and then of course the sun. And what's crazy is that is the opposite side of the zodiac than with Aquarius and Leo. And what's interesting with that is there's like this push and pull between like relationships and self-expression, but a lot to do with the relationships, because Leo and Aquarius, they talk a lot about the dynamics of, let's say, energies in relationships. And so we could be seeing a lot of that right now in our lives, a lot of deepening in relationships. So what we're going to do today is I'm gonna do one oracle deck. I'm using the sacred symbols, and then we're just going to combine that with tarot, and we're going to go through all of the signs of the zodiac and see what energies have come out. Now, I will confess, in the words of transparency, that I have written down just some notes for me to follow, just because I haven't had too much time to prepare for this, but you know, I really wanted to do this. So you'll see me just kind of reading some notes. No, I didn't use ChatGPT. I actually wrote these down, so I'm going to go through these before each zodiac sign. And what I'm doing is I'm basically aligning everything to where the moon sits within your chart according to your sun sign. And it could be your rising too. But without further ado, let's get to it. So I'm going to start with Aquarius, since we're in Aquarius season. So Aquarius, receptivity might be a key word for you right now. And getting a different perspective on your relationships. Many of you might be building an entirely different business or entering a new different business with a particular person, set of people, and the lessons that you've been learning from the last Leo moon, like I said, are being implemented and heightened during this full moon. There's a sense of commitment in how you are allowing yourself to be seen and recognized in your one-to-one relationships. Uranus is your planet ruler, symbolizing deep change, currently transiting through Taurus, which is also in retrograde, in your 4th house, which could mean you might be cultivating a new, deeper connection with family, or establishing new friends, or getting back in touch with friends who align with your long-term goals or your values. Taurus energy has a lot to do with cultivating and establishing strong values. So let's pull out one card with that energy in mind, and let's see what comes out. So we first have Psychic. So Psychic for Aquarius. So, I mean, that's quite in line. You know, you have so many planets in your sun right now, and you could be getting a lot of intuitive hits, tapping into like what is really activating, you know, your intellectual, what makes you curious. So I feel as though a lot of you are tapping into this kind of psychic realm right now. So we've got Fool. You got the Fool. So new beginnings. You got the Star in reverse. And the Star is it talks about when it's like a healing process. In reverse, it can say, you know, resisting some healing. But I think in this sense, with the Fool and then the Star in reverse, I feel like this is saying taking a new leap of faith where you might have resisted before. We've got the Six of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. So So a lot of like reciprocal energy here. We've got the Six of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. Those three are all to do with relationships. And I think maybe some of you are like sharing some resources with some people. These might be these new people that you are stepping into a new business with the Three of Pentacles. And maybe going back into like some part of your life, like maybe looking back at an earlier chapter of your life where maybe you don't have those people in your maybe they're around or in your energy, but you're not with them, you know, on a daily basis, or they're not really, you feel like you need to tap back in with them. So some of you might be like around people where you're building a business or you're collaborating on something, but some of you might be feeling like you want to tap back into with some people, or maybe you're doing both. Maybe like kind of what I was saying is there are some people, yeah, that might be aligned with your long-term goals and values. So maybe just maybe you're putting up some boundaries. Maybe that might be something that's important for you, where maybe there's some people from your past that you need to set some boundaries with, or you're kind of bringing back people that you may have lost touch with. And there's a sense of a connection that you want to, maybe a type of connection or a deep, where there's people in your energy, like you know that they are, maybe you've been watching them, what they've been doing on social media, or you've been kind of in touch with them lately, and you're kind of seeing them, that there's an opportunity there for something to grow. Yeah. That is what's coming through for Aquarius. Okay. All right, so next we've got Pisces. And this one, let's see, what house is this in for you? Well, this would be, this would be 4th house, I think, yes. Okay, so Pisces. Many of you could find you're quite busy right now. Maybe reevaluating your routines, maybe waiting for something to give, but now finding it's time to take control. You could have some imbalances in your health, or maybe just an imbalance in your life. Maybe focus too much on one thing, like one or two aspects that are just kind of consuming your energy, and you're needing to recalibrate. And with Neptune just moved out of Pisces, and Saturn soon to leave into Aries, and the moon in Leo opposite the sun, you could be finding new people, getting surprising news, or may feel like some mental fog might be clearing up for you right now, or at least feeling excited for, let's say, new experiences to come your way. But as you are a mutable sign, it's important to stay intentional, so you don't repeat past patterns, especially if since we're all moving into a new cycle, going into this new year of the fire horse. So, yes, staying intentional. So let's see what's coming through for Pisces. We've got transmute. Okay. Okay, I feel like a lot of you might have been coming out of an old role, where it's not just like, it's interesting I said something about health, you know, where your habits might be affecting your health, but I think this is also something deeper. You know, transform is, you know, they call the transformers because they are changing their form. Whereas this one is more of you're transmuting. It's a deeper mental, even spiritual sense where you're changing your energy or transmuting your energy to a new, I could say dimension, but a lot of you could be deepening your sense of what is important for you. And that could be what is coming through with that house, where you need to reevaluate, like why are you needing to recalibrate? Why are you needing to restructure your life right now? And that might be an important question for you, is like thinking about what is important for you and how you can move forward with like moving towards your long-term goals. Okay. So, advice for Pisces during this time. We've got the Three of Swords, the Nine of Swords in reverse, Ace of Wands in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. Okay, so yeah, a lot of you, I feel like maybe a lot of you Pisces have just come out of a relationship, or maybe you're finding that there's something that has been troubling you for a while, and there's been some resisting. And so you're definitely looking at your habits and even just like what you think, right? What you believe, maybe putting behind some self-limiting beliefs that have been holding you back around relationships. Because I see some of you have gone through quite maybe some substantial pain recently, and you're promising to yourself, maybe I need to move on from this person, or there's this chapter of my life just closed off, but I need to let what did end in that past be in the past. And I see that you're working towards restructuring. So let me ask you, what are you moving away from with the Eight of Cups there? The Eight of Cups talks about when you're going, this could be conscious or not, but it's just a sense of a feeling where you're going towards an emotional journey of authenticity or truth. You're being transparent, but with the Eight of Cups, there's a sense of you need to leave something behind in order for you to transmute. So I think you know that you need to move away from this, and I think you're coming out of it. I think you're coming out of this anxiety with the Nine of Swords in reverse, but it has caused you a lot of, I think you've been like going through some torment, and I think it's good that you're looking at your routines, maybe your long-term goals, and moving away from this energy. So I think you should just keep keep working towards that. All right, that was for Pisces. So the next one is Aries. And again, for any of you that are just tuning in now, if you're cutting to the different parts of the video, I've written some notes for me to just help me through the different parts of the zodiac, because I like to integrate astrology with tarot, and I like it to be as accurate as possible. So anyway, Aries. So you could be experiencing some big changes in your life, especially with Mars in Aquarius, which is Mars is your sign or your planet, but also a new spark of joy. If you feel as though you've lost your way a little, this time is a moment of change before new things start to happen, a new life. The moon currently transits your 5th house, which is associated with self-expression. So you could be feeling very creative with combinations of, the different combinations of fire energy happening right now. You could be utilizing these big changes or this energy that you're feeling, especially with Uranus in Taurus, and setting your priorities towards sustainable goals, which is pretty exciting. And this year is, I think, out of all the zodiac signs, Aries definitely are having the biggest, or let's just say Aries is going through big changes, and they're in that top tier of big impacts that are happening in your life right now. So keep pushing through, Aries. So let's see what card comes through. Beautiful. Power. And I always associate this with Pluto. Look at where Pluto is in your chart to see what that relationship is there. Because Pluto represents power. So yeah, you're definitely, this is a very, also like an Aries energy, where I think you're getting a bit of that Aries spark back, or maybe if you feel like it hasn't it's been stagnant for a while, you might be getting that back now. So you might be stepping into like an authoritative role, or at least feeling like you're getting back in charge of your life. So you could be seeing things clearly, or just looking at your priorities, and it's like becoming clear to you now, like what you need to focus on. So you might be going through a lot of changes, but I think I'm getting the sense that with the power card, you are utilizing those changes and turning into your advantage, kind of like the the Wheel of Fortune type of energy. So let's take a look. We've got the Queen of Swords, Hermit, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, King of Swords, wow, okay, and Death. Also another Scorpio energy. Pluto is ruled by Scorpio, Pluto rules Scorpio, and the Death card is it is also kind of a Capricorn energy, but it's definitely more of a Scorpio energy. The sense of kind of like the Pisces one, the transmuting, but putting an end to something. I feel like you're stepping out of this hermit phase, where maybe you've been kind of reserved a little bit, and you've been looking at your life, and maybe it's felt a little bit stagnant. But I think you've been reassessing some things. Like, what needs to stay in your energy, and what energy you want to put out into the world. A lot of you could be talking right now, like just expressing yourself, or at least wanting to. Yeah. So if you aligned like the 5th house energy, which is Leo, with the Leo full moon and then Aries, that's like 3 different fire energies put together. So I feel like you're definitely coming out at this point of maybe feeling a little bit stagnant, and you're getting all of these exciting ideas. And I'd be interested to like know, like, put in the comments what you think, or if you know it, what this, maybe this cycle or this process that you're putting to an end. So yeah, I definitely like maybe a new life, and this could be in your career, or if this is a relationship, these can suggest different relationships there. But I think it's like a very harmonious relationship. You're both intellectually stimulated. There could be just someone in your life that is giving you that, stimulant, or maybe you're sharing ideas with them, or maybe that could be useful for you. Having a friend or your partner that just bouncing ideas, so you can like look at these things that you're passionate about. That these could be ways you could express yourself. So maybe you're not looking at just things that might be a short-term financial relief. You want things to be fully like reciprocal. The energy you're putting into your work and your job is also fulfilling, not just financially safe. So new changes to come for Aries, definitely. Okay, Taurus, here we go. So very interesting energy. So first of all, how are you guys doing, you Tauruses? I have a good friend, Taurus. He's working a lot right now, working on a new project, bringing it to life. And I feel as though a lot of Tauruses right now are putting a lot of effort into their work. So there is definitely an emphasis on work and career right now. So I think a lot of you are focusing on your life direction. You're being reminded to tap back into your roots as well, though. The moon is going to be in your 4th house, and that is the house of, family and roots and, your origins. And so, yeah, you could be called back to tap back into your roots, your home, your family, with Leo full moon being in your 4th house. So I think the purpose of this is to remind yourself to stay grounded when you're working on your goals. That tender loving care type of situation. So you're being called to make sure you have the right foundations on this cycle. Uranus, however, has a strong aspect with Saturn currently, so there is this feeling of like wanting freedom, or maybe something's not coming quick enough. So you're putting your focus towards your goals, but it's important to stay grounded at this time. So you might be feeling maybe a little bit restless at this point. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. So let's take a look at what cards come through. I'm going to first pull out the Oracle. Spiritual cleansing. That is very in line with what I just said. Spiritual cleansing, that card is about when there's like an imbalance in your life, And although you might be focused on like, goal-driven passions, we can tend to like become, if you're not like also making sure that you're balanced and all of your focus is being put towards, and your time like being put towards your goals, then you can fall short on other important things like, friends, family, or your health especially. A lot of us can deal with that. So I think some of you are definitely being called to balance your energies. So here we go. We got the Devil in reverse, Emperor in reverse, the Eight of Swords, and 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. Two of Wands. Wow, okay. I'm getting a sense that maybe some of you have been putting your energies towards a specific goal or direction, but maybe you're realizing that it's not everything that you had expected, and you're being kind of shifted into like maybe to integrate some things, like integrate your energy, but maybe you're realizing that you need a different path for some of you. But I think that there either it's it could be you, or it can be someone in your vicinity that you're kind of, I think you're kind of moving away from. And this might be in your career, or it could be a relationship where they've been taking your energy away from your goals. So it might be the relationship that you're finding wasn't aligned with you. Maybe both, with the Two of Wands there. But I can see it's been causing, for those that this is actually resonating with, I see you've been kind of like short in vision, like having a lot of anxiety, kind of trying to decide on, do you keep pushing forwards? I don't have the Nine of Wands here, which talks about just like being resilient and pushing that step further. But definitely seeing that you're coming out of a feeling of like either entrapment, or you need to find a different maybe outlook, or this might be a different path. But I also am getting, for many of you, that you just need to change your approach. Like maybe you've been putting so much of your energy into this goal, and it's almost like in the universe, like when you when you want it so badly, the universe can just hold it from you. And the moment that you stop trying to like put so much control on getting a goal, it almost just gives it to you, because then you're aligned with taking those necessary steps. So with the spiritual cleansing here, and this full moon being in your 4th house, I'm getting a sense that a lot of you are being like tapping back into your roots. Maybe there's something that you've been working towards, or someone in your energy that you need to do some cleansing, and just make some changes in your life. Okay, so that's for Taurus. Next up we have Gemini. What's up, Gemmy Gems? How you guys doing? So Gemini, so this will be yes, in your third house. So this talks a lot about communication, how you communicate, what you want to express. So you are never short on ideas. Now is no different. Many of you are learning new crafts or knowledge and putting your wisdom into practice. Many of you could be finding new gifts, having intuitive hits, or even new career paths, or simply leveling up your businesses. There's a strong energy about interactions and talking, and with the full moon in your third house, you're putting your voice and ideas into the world. So this may feel like you're being awakened, like you've been lacking for a long time. There's a strong passion emerging. With all of this new fire, you could find you're overactive, like very, very busy. So so it's important to have a good perspective on your situation so you don't burn out. Get in touch with like-minded people so you can share your ideas. Yes, so a new voice. I feel like Geminis have been really stepping into a new phase of their life, especially with Pisces that just moved out of, Neptune that just moved out of Pisces. So let's take a look at what's coming through for Gemini. Nature spirits. Interesting. I'm getting a message of, if I was to integrate those two, friends and nature, like taking a trip, going out, doing a trip of like something that's very reinvigorating, or brings back some energy, a very natural energy that you've been missing a lot in your life. So maybe a lot of you are in the city, or just not grounded enough in nature, and you're feeling a sense that, or maybe you don't know this yet, and you're kind of just being reminded of this right now, to take a break, go out into nature. And I just feel like there's never really enough of a reminder to go out into nature. So yeah, there's definitely that sense of like being very busy and needing to take some time. I feel as though it's like with friends, but it could be, just being in nature by yourself, taking some time to, I think Geminis have been focused on like new ideas, new directions, but what about your own time just being human out in nature? Okay, so we have Queen of Pentacles. Death again, that came up with Aries. Then we have the Star in reverse. Magician. And the Ace of Cups in reverse. Okay, definitely an ending happening. I'm getting the sense that some may be getting back in touch with a healing that you've been resisting. I'm not sure there. It's almost like a sense, what needs to be in my energy now must continue with me into the next chapter of your life, and whatever doesn't needs to end. And I see as though you're definitely learning new things or putting your skills into action. But I think some of you might be still resisting really like I feel as though maybe some of you are actually taking action into your goals and what you want. But maybe a collection of you might be struggling with how to do that, or what is truly authentic to you, or what feels, you know, like when you intuitively know something, do you have the courage or the guts to like really do that no matter what anyone else thinks? So, but I also do see that many of you are being quite protective of your energy, and like that mantra that I just said before, like whatever needs to stay, you're being very discerning, and what needs to go into the past does need to go in the past. So I think there is quite a lot of energy here. I think for a lot of Geminis, getting out into nature would be very helpful. And if you're expressing ideas a lot, are you doing journaling? You know, go out to into nature and do some journaling. Like, not just doing it in your bedroom or your living room, but actually being in a different space. I feel like a lot of Geminis are maybe staying in one place, or maybe you're going to so many places, but it's not in nature. So, yeah, get your thoughts out, but also be authentic about it, and make sure to do it in a healthy way, because Geminis can get kind of trapped up in their heads. Anyway, beautiful. So next up we've got Cancer. Cancer. So many of you could be doing a lot of grounding, putting great efforts towards healing and shadow work, and also focused on new shift in stability, with the full moon being in your second house. Money could be on your mind. That's a lot about the second house there. You could be focused on increasing what you have and making peace with what you don't. Essentially finding new grounds on where you might have been giving too much of yourself to certain situations, relationships, or what you've been giving your energy towards that hasn't been sustainable. In a simple sense, you could be finding how you can establish more peace in your energy. Jupiter in your sign is providing a lot of expansion towards new ways of looking at aspects in your life that you haven't before. So you may be receiving new opportunities that are unexpected but exciting. Nice. I just saw the Divine Masculine card come up on the bottom there. So we've got time. So whenever I see this one come up, it usually means that something new is on the horizon. But you have been maybe tied to something for a while, or working on finding something new. So I think a lot of you are kind of reaching a new heightened sense of meaning. maybe balancing between, finances, but also what that stability is set towards. Cancer is all about emotional security, so establishing a feeling of like, this might be a little bit on the nose, but how you're navigating yourself through time. What's important to you? Because the second house is associated with Taurus, so sustainability, I'm getting there. So we've got the Page of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Swords in reverse, Three of Cups, King of Cups in reverse, and the World in reverse. Okay. I feel as though maybe a lot of you have been overextending yourself. But that is healing. I think you're putting your efforts towards relationships that are promising, or they are emotionally, there's a reciprocal energy. But I feel as though you're like, there's still something that you need closure on. It's like you're trying to carry yourself through this next cycle, but you're kind of a little on edge of how, like, what's the next move? So I think maybe a lot of you are focusing in on what is sustainable right now. And because it might be out of your immediate control, it might be an external factor, it's a little unclear, what is happening or what needs to happen. But I think so long as you are, doing your best, the Cancer in the best case scenario is when Cancers really take care of the people they love. And I see that is something that you may be doing right now with the Six of Swords in reverse, and then the Three of Cups there. That's like an energy of like putting your efforts towards relationships, but there is a sense of, are you giving too much of yourself, or maybe there might be some people that are taking from you and not giving enough back, so you feel as though you don't feel like you're in control, or maybe you do feel like you're in control, but it's not reciprocal. I'm getting a sense of reciprocal there. So for Cancers, I would encourage, just make sure that you're putting up boundaries, or at least making sure that you're staying on top of your what the energies that you're giving to the people around you, and what you give to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself either. Okay. So next up, we've got Leo. Leo, how you doing? So this is the full moon in your sign. And again, anyone who's tuning in, I am reading off my notes here just for this video because I didn't have enough time to really set this up, but we're doing it anyway. So Leo, you're being called to release ties that are holding you back from who you're becoming. look back at what you were doing. Look back at what what you're going through, and what were you going through back in July last year or early August. These energies are at their peak and taking form in your life right now. The full moon currently in your first house is about self identity. So you may be viewing your life and being called to reckon with yourself, your motives and your desires. This is to make space and get the clarity that you need. So you could find that you are putting yourself out into the world more, and that can create some unexpected and exciting changes, especially as Neptune just moved in Aries, or into Aries, and Saturn is moving out of Aries on the 13th of this month. So you're definitely in the spotlight, and this is time to take action, Leo. So we got death. Okay, definitely like putting an end to a cycle here. So becoming, I think you're like maybe lightening the load a little bit, or just maybe giving a bit more focus on yourself, which is great. Okay, let's see what's to come through. We've got the Knight of Cups in reverse, Page of Cups in reverse, the 10 of Swords in reverse. Wow, this is the Queen of Cups, also in reverse. A lot of reverses here. And then also the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Wow, all reverse signs. Don't be alarmed. That does not mean essentially that it's bad. Okay. Yeah, you guys have been carrying a lot of weight. Or maybe a lot of you have been carrying a lot of weight, and you're trying to move out of this and look at what really makes you happy. The 10 of Swords in reverse talks about when you've been in quite a deep cycle of, hardship or struggles, and you're coming out of it, and it's like these emotions that you've been feeling, or these emotions that you're committed on, like moving away from. You're trying to release them. So I think you're letting go of some emotions, or maybe even beliefs that have stopped you from attaining your long-term goals, or maybe just feeling like you're in line with them. So maybe, a lot of you could be focused on your long-term goals, right? But maybe you're just at this stage where you're just bringing more peace into your life. And I think a lot of you are focused on just a sense of serenity, peace, giving back to yourself. And that is very much in line with the Leo full moon. Yes, I love that energy. Giving back to yourself. Definitely always give back to yourself, Leo. Okay, that was for Leo. Let's look back. Let's go on to Virgo now. So, Virgo, you may have been working a lot lately, and in need of some rest. The full moon is in your 12th house. This may be difficult for you. So be aware of impulsivity or scattered energy, because you are typically, you typically love structure, or at least having a channeled lifestyle. All patterns might be surfacing or might feel more sensitive or withdrawn. This is all coming from the Aquarius stellium happening right now, and that's in your 6th house. So it's adding a lot of pressure around work and responsibilities. So you're being called to pace yourself while new ideas and opportunities surface. Okay. So here we go. Virgo. Divinity. Very nice. Okay, divinity. Let's see. Divinity is... Okay. Interesting. So this card usually calls for when you need to act out of a sense of love, like love over fear. Maybe a lot of you have gone through something, or at least you feel like you need to work hard on something. If this is a relationship, maybe you've been recalibrating, like looking at your daily schedule or your routines. And there might be a slight hesitation towards new love if you're single right now, or there's a need for deepening a connection. So yeah, Virgo, I think you've been working a lot, quite heavily recently, and with the 12th house, that's usually about subconscious things that can be kind of like lingering in the background that you're not really aware of. So you might be feeling like either you're coming out of a slow spot, or you've been very busy trying to initiate a new beginning. And I'm getting a sense that maybe love, like loving yourself more, not overworking so hard to where you're not giving yourself the attention under the Leo full moon there. Okay, so let's see what's coming through here with tarot. Advice for Virgo. Okay, we've got the King of Cups. Three of Pentacles. I feel like I should do another shuffle here. Let's do another shuffle. Never hurts. So far it's something about like graceful authority, like how you feel, and something about collaborations. Interesting, I talked about relationships there. Relationships. So maybe how you are receiving love, or how you're giving love to other people. We've got the 8 of Wands in reverse, so a little bit of a stagnancy there. Strength, reversed. And Death card. Death card has been coming up a lot here. A lot of everyone has been closing up cycles, definitely. So I'm getting a message of self-compassion. But maybe you haven't been giving yourself enough self-compassion. And that might be, you know, that does align with the 12th house there, that there's some uncertainty going on. I feel like there's been a lot of maybe mental, like a lot of thinking going on that might not be entirely positive. And so I think you're realizing that you need to evaluate some beliefs, maybe about love, because it seems like you've been maybe working a lot, but maybe trying to cover up for a relationship, or moving on a relationship. You're like putting your energy towards a new goal, a new project, something like that, because something has come to an end, or maybe it's happening right now, and you're being called to really sense your feelings. I'm also getting a message of emotional atonement, and yeah, something about relationships here. So this could, if it's about work, you know, it could be grounding yourself, realizing that, you know, everyone in their own sense is going through their own stories, so there might be some triggers at work. That came up in the last Virgo reading. But if this is about love or relationships, something about moving away from something, a relationship, or there needs to be focus on compassion, so that this sense of like stagnancy can end, and you can come to terms with how you feel about this relationship, whether that's moving on or not. So interesting energy there. Okay, so that's for Virgo. Let's move on to Libra. Libra. My mother is a Libra. Libras are some of my favorite people. So you are very welcome, as is everyone else. So again, if you're just tuning in here, you do see me kind of viewing off to the side here, just because I've written down some notes. I have been in a rush and putting together this video. So okay, so Libra, there's a strong focus around relationships and the strength of those connections. You may be the person who tends to take on everything by yourself, but right now you're being shown there are people who have your best interests around you. This may be close friends or family, and if you're looking for that, you know, new relationships, then the emotions you set place back in the end of July might be drawing these like-minded people towards you. With Uranus harmonizing Saturn, this can add a spontaneity or surprise. So this can be an additional confirmation of exciting surprises happening for you. To sum this all up, during this full moon, you're being drawn to an intensity of creative self-expression and balancing of personal pleasure versus group alignment. So quite a big energy there for Libra. So let's see what's to come out here. Libra. So we have, oh wow, a lot of energy now. Let's see. Trust. I feel like trust is a very good one for Libra right now. Yeah, there might be a lot of uncertainty, and you're learning to trust that, process through uncertainty. So there may be a lot of learning, or I don't think exploring, but there's like a learning about relationships right now, and learning to trust in yourself. So maybe putting behind some beliefs, some self-limiting beliefs, or trusting other people. So trust. I think that's an energy that a lot of people need to do. Putting more efforts into trusting. It's difficult to do. Okay. We've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. We've got the King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords in reverse. Okay. Now, I don't know if this might be a relationship here. There might be someone I feel maybe this might be your past, actually. Someone who is kind of, how do you say, not manipulative, but I think a little blindsided by the effect that they have on you. And you're kind of putting faith. I think you're trying to learn how to maintain your, I think, trust, but I think also faith in by simply trying to manifest. I think you're like trying to keep it going, but I think you need to put a bit more effort into maybe speaking your own truth. Instead of, speaking your own truth instead of keeping it locked in. Bottling up. And I think you might be afraid of how it might come across or how that person might respond. Interesting. I mean, that is definitely, this can, if this is resonating with you, this is definitely aligned with that specific energy. So, yeah, Libra, learn to definitely, I think, trusting in your own truth, trusting in your own voice, like what you need to say. And that in itself will create more transparency and trust within the relationship. So no more storing that energy in. Okay. All right, and then last but not least, we have Scorpio. All right. So Scorpio. So this full moon is in your 11th house. Sorry, 10th house. And you could be turning your focus towards your outward life and long-term career. So perhaps there's been a little hiatus recently. Maybe not for all of you, but I think for some, that's brought you away from your involvement with various long-term goals, or you're finding a way to align your energy to balance these trajectories, or you're looking at a way to integrate them together. So many of you could be beginning a new phase in your life. This is putting you into a position of power. You could be experiencing promotion, career moves, or just promotions, career moves, or just drastic changes during this Aquarius season. As you're looking into long-term goals, you could be attracting people of passion into your life, giving a sense of a spontaneity with a romantic partner or a friend. You could be wanting more clarity on a situation, but it will come sooner than later. I expect somewhere around mid-February when we move into Pisces energy. Just keep focusing on your next steps and direction in life. So planning and creating boundaries with anyone who tries to overstep. These energies might feel like a push and pull between public life and private needs. And just to remind everyone, these are things that I have written myself. I have not used ChatGPT. I've done careful analysis of the ZODIAC. So here we go. Energies to come through for Scorpio. Grounded. It's always good. Yeah. With that push and pull between your public life and your personal life or relationships and long-term goals, there needs to be a sense of groundedness so you can see what you're trying to work towards. So maybe some of you might be feeling like you're not grounded, or there's a sense that maybe you're a little ungrounded and you're excited about these new things that are happening and you're kind of going with the flow. But that's why it is important to make sure that you are staying present with your boundaries. And what's interesting is this came up, this just popped out. It's the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Sorry, Queen of Wands in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. What are reverses coming up? Empress. Again, interesting. Seven of Swords. And the Three of Swords. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay, for some of you, you might have like a lack of clarity around a relationship. But you're feeling like, you want it to blossom, but you're a little unsure, and that's kind of creating a little tension within you. Some of you may feel like this not knowing of what's to come is a little unnerving. Might be reminding you of past relationships where something went wrong or there was a lot of pain. But I think you're putting faith in like new outcomes, that the fact that this is a new relationship, that it might blossom. But I think it's interesting to stay grounded, because I am seeing a little bit of like some past energy that's kind of coming through, a little bit of triggering, and also feeling like a little uncertainty happening, but definitely a sense of wanting this, if it is a relationship, to really grow. Now, if this is like a long-term goal, like maybe you're a creative or you're an entrepreneur, this could say something about a new path, or a new, let's say, maybe a project. Maybe a lot of you are working on a project, and I find that you're being strategic about it and really committing to it, but I feel as though there's a little uncertainty of maybe there's a commitment issue here. That might be it. Or maybe like you're kind of battling between if I should go one way or just or multiple, and your energy is kind of scattered. Which is interesting that the grounding comes out there. So yeah, Scorpio, definitely some interesting new developments happening. And I would say use the wisdom that you've learned from the past, right? But don't let that become the cause of your own uncertainty. I think if you stay grounded with, if this is about a relationship or a goal, a career, a life path, be transparent with yourself, and also believe in it. Believe in the growth of that project to take form. Okay guys, well, that is it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that jazz. That helps with the channel. I'm going to keep pumping these out. I'm going to get a lot better at all of this stuff. Like I said at the beginning, it is definitely not easy to balance between life and making a YouTube channel, but these are just these new structures that I'm developing, and I think it's just fun to just be open about this, and here I am. I'm here in the world. I don't have everything in mind, but we're all in this together. So anyway, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.